Hello everyone and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today we are watching Soulblade 1975 in the Friedrich der Große, a tier 9 German battleship. He is on the map Shards in a 3-point domination game mode, and it's a tier 9 battle, but there are only 3 tier 9s around, there are only 2 enemy destroyers and there is no carrier. So pretty awesome matchmaking for a battleship. Now, as usual, this replay is on warreplays.com and I will put a link to the video description. Also, something that I'd like to mention, next Saturday on the 8th of October there is a community contributor battle in NA versus EU. It will be live on Twitch and there will be some pretty big names there like the Mighty Jingles. So I'm sure it will be a fun event. And I will put a link to that in the video description. Now let's get started with this battle, and it seems like we have a collision incoming here. Yep. Well now. Anyway, the friendly team is already starting to capture Charlie. They have a destroyer who will pretty soon be here at Alpha, but the enemies have started capturing it. And there aren't a lot of ships down here, so I'm not sure how great the chances are. It looks like one friendly destroyer is going towards Beta. And well, the friendly team has one destroyer more, so they have one per cap zone. That might work out. Although I think, yeah, no, there are way too many ships down here at Alpha. Usually you wanna take 2 capture points in a 3-point domination game mode and try to hold 2. If you're trying to go for 3, you're spreading your forces too thin. Now they successfully captured Charlie, and it looks like they are getting Beta because it's not contested yet. The majority of the force is still here in a bit in the back line, but I guess they are in a position where they could now react towards Charlie or Beta and defend them if necessary. Now Soulblade is moving here aggressively towards the front. And yeah, there are torpedoes incoming. There is an enemy destroyer here around somewhere, but the friendly destroyer will hopefully be able to spot the enemy. Now the friendly team has lost one destroyer here at Alpha. This cruiser is hopefully retreating. This cruiser over there should probably run away. And generally, this position you'd wanna have your forces here somewhere between Beta and Charlie and be just in a position to defend if necessary. If the enemies get Alpha, they might just gather their forces there and make a massive push towards Beta, and you wanna be able to intercept that if possible. Now meanwhile, Soulblade here scored some hits on the Kiev. He has to be careful here. If he pushes over too hard, he might get shot by multiple battleships, which is not what you want to be. Unfortunately, this Iowa is angled quite nicely. There is a Miyoko coming out here in the front, and it looks like the Miyoko might be showing broadside, so it's certainly worth switching targets here. Now it's looking pretty bad. The friendly team has already lost 4 ships and the enemy has lost none. The advantage of the friendly team is that they hold 2 capture points, and that might just be what they need. Now Soulblade is reversing here. He can't really push further into all those enemies. He doesn't have support here, and they have 2 capture points, right? They are not in a position where they have to push. Even though they are 4 ships behind, they would win currently over time. So their main focus right now should be to defend. And Soulblade is in some nice cover here between those islands. And he wasn't very lucky with the last Miyoko, but maybe he can get the Yep, that was a Citadel hit. That's more like it. Now, so far, it doesn't look like the enemies are on a way to capture Beta. Maybe some of those, but they still have to be careful. The enemies around here might try to take Charlie. The friendly forces who were at Alpha are retreating, and maybe the friendlies can rally somewhere and then just be in a good position to defend. Now Soulblade is still retreating from his forward position here and trying to get into a better spot. It looks like most of the enemies have abandoned Point Charlie. And somebody in the chat wants his team to attack. They are not really in a great position to attack. They have lost too many ships and they don't need to with the control of 2 points. What they need to is to get in a good position to defend and make sure that they aren't spread too thin. And there goes an enemy Miyoko, which is great. I'm not sure what this enemy destroyer here is doing. He should probably try to get in there and capture a point. As long as the enemies have ships spread out around here, it's looking somewhat okay for the friendly team. There might be an offensive coming here from Alpha. But again, the enemies have ships here very close to the zone wall. Those ships are in the wrong spots. They should be here closer towards the center. I mean, the enemies have a ship lead. If they just push with all they have, they will win. The worst thing the enemies can do is spread out and try to hunt down single ships without trying to take capture points. Our Soulblade is moving here, I guess, more in a position where he can defend Beta. It looks like Charlie is safe for the moment. The friendly forces do have a battleship up here and the cruiser is following those battleship. Now if they go here up in this corner, it's not a very good position. They can't really do anything up here. I mean, they don't even have shots right at Charlie because of those islands, and they are way too far from the main force that needs their help. But the friendly team also only has 1 destroyer left. The destroyer is here sticking with the fleet. He is lying a smoke screen here. And maybe Soulblade can even use the smoke screen to find some cover. It looks like the friendly team is a little bit outnumbered here, but that's expected. Our Soulblade does have a Geyser now here as backup. The other battleship here a little bit in the back is at least providing fire support, even though he isn't really joining here the front lines. A friendly destroyer is also helping out here. And Soulblade has made it inside the smoke screen, so he's now not spotted and can hopefully bring devastation to the enemies. Oh, this cruiser is probably firing. Yeah, he is launching his torpedoes. The smoke screen is gone, but I think the enemy cruiser, he has probably launched his torpedoes blind. And this cruiser should go down soon. Now this is a very tricky spot. They are basically two battleships here, and the battleship stick Gneisenau is almost down. Now Soulblade is trying to turn away here. He can't really push in there further without support for one, and he has to be able to dodge the torpedoes from the Gneisenau. He can't just go closer towards her. And now turning your ship around exposes your broadside and therefore can be punished quite heavily. Luckily the friendly battleship was alive long enough to kind of protect the turn of Soulblade there. But he is still in a pretty bad spot. He is getting shot at from multiple enemies. And yeah, he really has to retreat here. Now meanwhile we still have friendly ships here at the zone wall. The point beater was lost, and there isn't an awful lot trying to do about. Now at least the enemies have ships somewhat here as well, so those ships at the zone wall have at least some targets to shoot at. But Soulblade here, he has to retreat. The Gneisenau and the Bismarck are on low health, but both are angled and aren't giving him great shots. And it looks even worse. There seems to be another battleship here behind an island who will very soon be able to get shots in. There is also a Pensacola who is raining fire down upon him, so he is under fire from all sides. Now maybe this friendly battleship here can at least take some of the heat off him, or maybe he will be able to sink one of the enemies. And there is the enemy battleship. It's Nagato. So thankfully only a tier 7 ship, but he was not angled the right way because he had to angle against some other ships. And yeah, he's on pretty low health. He doesn't really have much options where to go to. He still has to beware of those battleships here at the center. The Pensacola is also leaving the safety of the island, and will he just continue to hunt him down? Now he is in a good distance to the Nagato. His secondaries are really pounding the Nagato. I think he's outside of the Nagato's secondary range, so at least that's working out. Also the Nagato is not doing its best job at angling. And certainly with a German tier 9 battleship you're a lot better at brawling than a Japanese tier 7. But there is also a zone wall who is coming closer, and the Nagato is starting to angle now, which will make things a lot more difficult. So Soulblade will very soon be forced to turn, or he will just go straight into the zone wall. Seems like he's trying to turn away. But surprisingly enough, he's turning back in. I think because the Nagato is somewhat showing broadside and he wanted to get his forward guns firing in there as well. Get as much damage in as he can while he is still alive, but now he has run into the zone wall. And he is in a pretty bad spot. Now it looks like he is trying to turn his ship currently, but running into the zone wall will also reduce your speed over time, and well, big battleships don't turn that well. Thankfully he was able to heal a few more hit points, and you see he is turning here but very slowly. He's sort of a sitting duck right now. Also, somebody in chat seems very upset with Destroyer. Oh. Well, it seems like Soulblade managed to finally kill the Nagato. Now hopefully he will be able to deal with this Pensacola. The Pensacola is showing broadside and he is slowing down. So this is a great opportunity. Maybe he can make something happen here. The Pensacola is speeding up again. He was quite a bit unlucky with his salvo there. Yeah, not looking too good. Now, interestingly enough, while all of this happened, the friendly team has now taken the lead ship-wise. The enemies still have more capture zones, but the friendly team also has a lead point-wise. And yes, somebody in chat is very upset with a destroyer and claims that the destroyer has some sort of god mode hack, which obviously doesn't exist. And also it looks like the Bismarck is coming this way. The Bismarck has spotted some wounded prey and he really wants to take down Soulblade. Remember, if a ship is destroyed, the team that loses a ship loses points and the team that is killing a ship gains points. So getting taken out here could be a very big deal. Fortunately, the enemy Hipper is also almost down. And there isn't an awful lot Soulblade can do here. He is out of heals. All he can hope for is bring as much devastation while he's still alive. And, well, he is down. But they should be able to take out this Hipper any moment now. And then it's simply a 2 versus 2. There is the Hipper. Now the friendly team has a point lead because of this, but the enemy team has 2 capture zones, so the enemy team will accumulate points faster. There isn't an awful lot amount of time left, and this might very well be a defeat. They have to survive and contest a point. Now the cruiser here is taking cover behind this island because, well, he's not on that much health and he doesn't want to get shot by a battleship. But by cowering behind this island, they do not contest a capture zone, and so the enemies get points twice as fast. With the points this close, this is not good, but the friendly Gleiser now should be entering the cap circle any moment now. Yep, he does. And with them contesting this point and the enemies here somewhere in the north where they cannot even spot the friendlies, this looks pretty much like a win. Let's take a look at the results. Soulblade managed to get 2076 base experience, and he certainly played very well. He only had 2 kills. But he helped his team quite a bit. He helped first take the point Alpha. He realized when he was in no position to advance any further and he retreated. Then he helped defend Beta, and once more he realized when the right point to retreat had come. And he managed to kite quite a few enemies and deal a lot of damage before he got taken down. But ultimately he helped his team achieve victory. Now Soulblade managed to do almost 250,000 points of damage. He got high caliber and Confederate. And his secondary gun batteries certainly went to town here. He had 342 secondary gun battery hits. And quite a bit of damage, thanks to them. So I really hope you enjoyed watching this. I certainly did. And I'll see you guys next time.